friends, welcome or welcome back to my channel. Today I'm doing the Booktube Newbie Tag, not because I consider myself a Booktube newbie. I posted my first video on Booktube in 2017. I've made, I think, about 40 videos since then, so I've been very inconsistent. But I wanted to do this tag to revitalize my channel, reintroduce myself. I want to get back into this. So without further ado, let's jump into the questions. The first question is, why did you start this channel? And going back to 2017, I don't really remember the reasonings I had behind posting that first video. But for today's Alicia, the reason I'm restarting this channel, making new videos again, is because I need a creative outlet. I'm studying music composition in school, and as much as that can be a creative outlet, there's also a lot of stress that goes along with it, and I just feel like making YouTube videos, making these booktube videos, just talking about books, which I'm already reading anyway, is a much lower stress way to have a creative outlet that I just enjoy. I'm not worrying about grades I'm gonna get. I'm not worried about making a whole lot of progress and having to do performances and things like that. So that's why I'm getting back into this. Question 2 is, what are some fun and unique things you can bring to Booktube? I personally think I'm not gonna try to be too unique or creative with my Booktube content. I'm probably just gonna do some fairly standard things. There are a couple ideas I have where I would like to bring in the musical element of what I do to Booktube, but mostly, since I want this to be low stress, I'm not going to put pressure on myself to be overly creative and unique in this avenue. Question 3 is, what are you most excited about for this new channel? And I'm going to sound like a broken record here because it's just an avenue to release creative ideas that I have and that creative energy that I feel like is not being properly released in my music that I'm studying because of the stress level there. So I'm just honestly so excited to have a lower stress way to release that creative energy that I have in these creative ideas. Question number 4 is, why do you love reading? And honestly, I love reading because my family loves reading. Both my mom's side of the family and my dad's side of the family, when we get together, aunts, uncles, cousins, whoever it may be, we spend pretty much the whole time together talking about books. That's what I grew up around, is everyone talking about books in whatever variety of book they read, however they consume the books. For example, my dad only listens to audiobooks. He hasn't read a physical book in I don't even know how long. He only listens to audiobooks. But pretty much every time I talk to him, we talk about books. Pretty much every time I talk to any of my uncles on my dad's side, pretty much any of my aunts and uncles on my mom's side, just anyone in my family, we talk about books. I just think I love reading because my family does, and there's no way I was going to grow up in that kind of environment and not love reading. Question number 5 is, what book or book series got you into reading? And I give a lot of credit to Harry Potter as getting me into reading to begin with. I remember being a little 5-year-old trying to read Harry Potter because that's what my brother was reading, and I was too young to understand it. I was in kindergarten. Harry Potter is not a book for kindergartners. But as I mentioned earlier, if it wasn't Harry Potter, it would have been something else. Just because my family loves reading so much, there would have been another series that I remember as being very foundational. It just happens to be Harry Potter, like it is for many people my age. Question number 6 is, what questions would you ask your favorite booktubers? And honestly, I would just go purely logistics on this one. How do you find the time to do everything? That is honestly why I stopped making videos 2 years ago-ish, I think is when I posted my last video. And it's just because I couldn't find the time to keep doing this. As much as I enjoy it, as much as I was like, I want to, I love this process, I just had a very hard time finding the time. So that would be my main question. How do you make the time? How do you find the time? Question number 7 is, what challenges do you think starting a booktube channel will be the hardest to overcome? And as I've mentioned previously, I think it's going to be being consistent, finding the time to do this. Now, I don't think those challenges are impossible to overcome. I just think they will be difficult for me to overcome. And in the past, when I was consistently making videos, really, really enjoying it, that's what got to me in the end. Was I didn't feel like I had enough time. I felt like I had too many other things to focus on. So I just need to find the way to balance what I need to do for school and what I want to do for booktube. Question number 8 is, where do you read? I do a lot of reading on my couch, which is right behind where you are right now. I also bought a chair specifically for reading. It's a very expensive chair, and now it has just become like a really big cat bed because it's basically just my cat's bed now. So I try to read there sometimes, but mostly I read on the couch. And I try to read in bed every night to help me fall asleep, but I try not to make that my primary place for reading because I don't want to always be falling asleep in the middle of when I'm reading. And the last question, question number 9, is, what kind of books do you read? I sometimes answer this by saying anything that has pages, which is kind of true. I will read anything regardless of genre if it sounds interesting to me. However, I am finding as I read more and as I think more critically about my reading, which I honestly think is the more important piece of this, is the genres I read the most are sci-fi and fantasy. Those are my main standbys. When I go to the bookstore, I go to the sci-fi fantasy section and typically find my books that I want to read from there. I do also read a fair amount of just general fiction, but looking at my statistics of reading, sci-fi and fantasy are always the top 2, followed by everything else. I am also trying to get into mystery thrillers. Mystery is a little bit easier for me to get into. Thriller/horror is really hard for me to find ones that I'm willing to take a chance on because I am a scaredy cat through and through. I don't watch scary movies because I do not like to be scared. So I enjoy reading the stories and I want a little bit of suspense, but I don't want to be like awake all night because I'm terrified. So I'm having a hard time finding mystery, thriller, horror that I'm enjoying without being too scared. But the ones I have found have been very good. And those are all the questions in the Booktube Newbie Tag. Thanks so much for watching. I hope to see you again soon. Bye!